You're listening to Excellence Above Talent, a podcast where we have the hard conversations about the lives of men and what leads us to achieve greatness and suffer defeat. Hear from other men's journeys as well, as we all learn and grow together to become inspirations to ourselves and those around us. And now your host, Aaron Thomas.
What's up, my beautiful people? Aaron Thomas with Excellence Above Talent. I wanted to jump on because I missed last Friday's deadline, just going through a lot. I'm not even going to lie. Was in a very depressive state. And it all started on Monday. I woke up Monday in my feelings with self-doubt, with a lot of negativity, doom and gloom. Thinking the worst about everything, not enough money, don't have anyone in my life right now as far as a companion, feeling lonely, not knowing if I'm where I need to be in life. And it started on Monday, and it just took me through the whole entire week up until about Sunday. So it's always important to, at some point, if you are in a negative state, to find your way out of it. And it took me a week. And there's nothing wrong with, taking a week to try to figure things out. But I just know if I would have changed my mindset to be more appreciative of the things that I have, thankful for the people that's in my life, and grateful for, where my life is at now, I would have gotten out of that negative state way quicker. I wanted to jump on today, though, because I'm still going to put a podcast out this Friday as well, because I don't want to miss. I don't want to miss a week. I don't want to be inconsistent. I know that in my life, I'm trying to compound into something. I'm trying to compound into the man that I want to become. And it takes a lot of consistency. It takes patience. It takes a lot of forgiveness, grace, and love. And I'm in the process of trying to work on all of those things. Give myself grace. I have messed up in the past. I am going to mess up in the future. But I want to learn from the bad choices that I've made and get better as a person and get better as a man. That's the only thing I can do. I cannot worry about what others think about me or how they feel about me. I have to just focus on what I can do to become a better person. I'm not in any competition with anyone but myself. I want to make myself the best possible version of myself. I don't know what that looks like, but I'm going to die trying. And I wanted to jump on the podcast today because suicide is an issue in the culture of men. I have contemplated suicide before. I have attempted it one time, and I was on my bed, and I put the gun to my head, and I pulled the trigger, and the trigger didn't go off, or the gun didn't go off. And I am a lucky one, because a lot of times when someone puts a gun to their head and pulls the trigger, that's a wrap. That's it. There is no coming back from that. I was able to come back from that. And the crazy part is, those feelings don't go away. I just turned them around to make them work for me. It's not like I'm looking to die, because I know I'm going to die. I'm not those people who are afraid of dying, because I know it's going to happen. I want to die, though, the best version of myself. I want to die a noble man. I want to die trying to change the world. I want to die leaving my mark on this world. I do not want to die afraid and alone and scared and feeling unloved and unworthy and not enough. And I flipped it, because at the end of the day, it's not like I don't want to die, but I want to die doing something great. I want to die helping out as many people as I possibly can. And I know it sounds crazy. I know it does. But that is where my mindset is at. That is why I'm okay with being different. That is why I'm okay with people looking down or judging me, because I'm open and vulnerable. I'm okay with walking around with my heart on my sleeve, loving fully and loving as hard as I possibly can. I'm okay with having my heart broken. I'm okay with it all, because at the end of the day, it's only going to make me better as a person. It's only going to make me better as a man. And feeling those feelings of pain and heartbreak, and also joy and happiness, helps me want to continue to fight forward. Because when those feelings disappear, what's the point of fighting? I have no feelings. There is no emotions. I don't feel anything. And that's kind of where I was at. That's where I was at whenever I tried to kill myself. No feelings, no emotions. I was just there. I wasn't myself. I was trying to be everyone's friend. I lost all of me trying to please everyone else. So it wasn't, there was no reason to live. I wasn't trying to make myself better. I wasn't competing with myself. I wasn't trying to make myself grow. I wasn't creating good chaos, good trouble. I want to create good trouble. I can't hold anyone accountable, but I want to call out issues that I see within men. We had a podcast last week about the divorce rate. And on this podcast, what excellence above talent is, it is a lifestyle that we as men should want to live. We all have talent. We all can be good and great men. But in order to be good or great men, you have to excel at what you do. You have to excel at being your true, authentic self. And so this podcast isn't a woman bashing podcast. This podcast isn't a man bashing podcast. I don't want to bash anyone. I want to find solutions to problems that we are having in this world right now. I don't want to act like everything's okay. I don't understand how we have got to the point to where no one is talking about the real issue. We're all walking around here broken and hurt, but no one wants to talk about it. We want to judge and look down and criticize other people for their struggles, for their weakness, not looking in the closet and dealing with your own. It's crazy. And I also feel one of the reasons why I tried to commit suicide is because I was living that life. I thought I was the shit. I was looking down and judging other people. I thought I was better. All the while, I'm losing myself in this fight, in this struggle to be my true, authentic self. And if you continue going down that path, you will lose. You might not commit suicide, but you'll drink yourself to death. Or you'll do drugs until you die or lose your family. You'll gamble. You'll run to porn. You'll destroy your life, trying to chase other women. You will do something to destroy your life because you don't like the person that you see. You don't know the person that you see. And so you will do any and everything to not feel or be seen by your true authentic self, not knowing that is the answer to all of your problems. And I'm now in the process of understanding that. And I'm not afraid to express myself. I'm not afraid to be open and vulnerable. I'm not afraid to say I struggle. I'm not afraid to say sometimes I feel alone. I'm not afraid to say I have lost out on friendships because I simply want to learn myself. And I don't want to be what everyone else is wanting me to be. So you will lose friends. People don't want to hang around you because you are different. Because maybe you're showing them what they need to do and they just are not ready to make that step yet. So they run away. They shy away from you. My phone has been the most driest in this 1 year span. I have been the most loneliest in this 1 year span. And you know what's crazy? It's not like a bad alone. It's a good alone. It's a alone where I can figure myself out and learn myself and grow. Because I'll tell you right now, the loneliest I have ever felt in my entire life is when I had a bunch of people around me who I thought were my friends. I never was heard. I never was understood. There wasn't a lot of respect. I was there for entertainment. Because if you see me drunk, I'm very entertaining. It's not funny, but it kind of is. And it was more of an entertainment. I was the circus act. Invite Aaron so he can do dumb stuff. And we can talk about it later. Or take videos and laugh about it. When I stopped drinking, a lot of people stopped calling. When I started really honing in on my skills, honing in on my why, honing in on why I do the things I do, and what I'm trying to accomplish in this life, a lot of people walked away. And that's totally fine because I didn't need them in my life. What I needed was to be alone. And this time, it wasn't an alone where I felt unworthy or not enough or not loved, even while going through a divorce, which is the most painful feeling I have ever felt, and I would not wish it upon anybody. And the fact that 50% of marriages end in divorce breaks my heart because I know there's a lot of broken people out there, hurt, because there were some people who really tried in that marriage and wanted to make it work. And they gave everything they had just for it to not work. How do you come back from that? How do you recover? If you don't give yourself time and you jump back into another relationship, all you're doing is bleeding on that next person. And I know for a fact that's what I want to do. I have so much love to give. I don't want to be by myself. But I know in this moment, being by myself is the best thing that could possibly happen to me. Because in my next relationship, I don't want to come into it with the same issues and struggles that I did in my previous marriage. It's not fair for the next person, and I simply don't want to do it. So I'm alone. I don't want to be alone, but I am alone, and I'm okay with it because at the end of the day, the next person that gets in a relationship with me, they will get the best version of me, and I will continue to grow to be the best version of me. And I will do all that I can to create an atmosphere where that home is filled with love and kindness and grace and forgiveness. But I won't stop fighting for what I believe in. My mission won't change. So now I'm just in this process of healing and working and trying to figure it out. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to hurt and struggle and be in pain. It's not okay to be by yourself and not hurt, struggle, or pain. I did not think no one cared when I tried to commit suicide. And the crazy part was, when I was sitting on the bed before I pulled the trigger, I was praying and asking God to have someone please burst into that door and tell me that they love me. Tell me that they see me. Tell me that I'm heard. No one walked in that door. I pulled the trigger, the gun jammed, and that was God telling me, you are loved. I care for you. I still need you in this world to make a change, to make a difference. I didn't know it then, but I know it now. There's something inside of me that makes me want to push forward, that makes me want to grow, that makes me want to be better. I hold myself accountable for my past action, for the pain and hurt that I caused other people. I cannot take it back. All I can do is look in the mirror, forgive myself, give myself grace, and become the best man I can possibly be that God has called me to be. I don't want people, especially men, putting guns to their heads and pulling the trigger, grabbing a rope and hanging themselves. It's devastating to all. Just thinking back how hurt my nephews would have been. What cycle would I have started if that gun went off? Would that be passed down in our family now? I'm so grateful it didn't go off. I don't want anyone to feel how I felt in that moment. It's terrifying. You are loved. You are wanted. It might not be by the people that are in your life that you want to want you. It might not be the people that's in your life right now, but there's someone out there that wants to see the best you, the best version of you. And you shouldn't stop looking for that person until you find them. Sometimes it is a spouse. Sometimes it is a best friend. But there are people out there that want the best for you. And you don't have to settle. You don't have to hope that someone that's in your circle or your spouse or your friends see you and hear you. You don't have to hope for that. You don't have to beg for that. That is just human decency. And the people that's around you shouldn't ask you to beg. You shouldn't feel alone or unworthy. And if you're around those people, you need to ask yourself why. They're not pouring into you. They're not helping you in any way. It's dangerous. Staying in places that you don't feel wanted or needed. And we're in a very weird place right now because women are being taught to be masculine. She don't want or need you. She can do it by herself. And so as a man, you have to adapt to what is going on in our culture right now. What society is pushing on to women and men. You can't have two masculine people in the household. That's just not how God created it. And this is my opinion. You can't have two masculine people. You cannot have two masculine people in the household. And if you are not talking about the gender roles, because those roles are fluid, they change. But if a man is raised in masculine ways and a woman is being raised in masculine ways, something has to change. I was listening to a sermon by Bishop T.D. Jakes, and in the Bible, God said that men should love his wife as God loved the church. So men should be willing to die for their family. And then wives submit to your husband. And I'm not that guy. Well, I'm not trying to use scripture to say wives submit to your husband, because as a husband, you should be submitting to God, and it creates submission from your wife. And to me, if your wife is not being submissive, it's because there's nothing to be submissive to. She doesn't respect you enough to be submissive. So she feels like she has to take on the masculine role. And that could be the case. I don't know. I'm trying to figure this stuff out. I think that's just the beauty of it. I think men are taking a back seat and allowing women to be the masculine figure in the household. And so that is why the divorce rate, when I say divorce rate, I mean 70% of women are initiating the divorce rate. So the divorce rate in the U.S. is about 50%. 35% of that is women divorcing men, which is crazy. But the sad part is, the second time you get married, the divorce rate then goes up to 60%. And the third time you get married, it's at 73%. So it doesn't get better. Women aren't finding men who are leaders, and they're searching for a leader. Again, my opinion, this is why women are divorcing men at such a higher rate than men divorcing women. There's not a lot of men leading the household. And for some odd reason, society has told men that it's okay to go be a provider, and that's freaking it. Waste all your time and energy at a job. Don't give a damn about you to come home to your wife and kids and give the bare minimum. And what your wife is looking for is a leader, someone with purpose, someone with a why. And your purpose, fellas, isn't your family. That's not a purpose. That's something that you need to do because you went out and got a wife and kids. That's a giving. But what else are you doing to lead the household? What effort are you putting in the household? And the sad part is most men put more effort at work than they do at the house. And then they're surprised when women are walking away. And this is from experience. How I was before my marriage and how I was during my marriage was two totally different people. There was a masculine and feminine switch. There was a push and pull and trying to figure it out. There wasn't a lot of communication. There wasn't a lot of trust. How was it going to work? We have to start being the leaders of our household. But in order to be a leader of your household, you have to know how to lead yourself first. If you can't lead yourself first as a man, don't expect no one else to follow you. And because no one is following you, You create a power imbalance. You demand that they follow you. And if you have to demand people to follow you, you are a weak man, because you should just lead by example. They should look up and see you doing the work, and they should follow. I'm not even sure how we got here, but we got here. So we're just having the conversation. I don't want to see men hurt. I guess that's what it is. I don't want to see men in pain. I don't want to see men blaming women for why their life is the way it is, because that's also a freaking cop-out. I am not blaming my ex-wife on why our marriage didn't work. Was I the only one that had issues in the marriage? No. But the only thing I can fix moving forward is my part in it. Me talking about her or what she did doesn't help me at all whatsoever. It doesn't help anyone. We got to focus on ourselves. We got to become the leaders that we were called to be. You have to know and be open enough to give your wife or your spouse that space. If she's needing to exert her masculine energy, your ego shouldn't be involved to where you don't allow her to, or you don't want her to. You can't allow no one to do anything. You don't want her to, so you push back and you push back. Sometimes you have to go with the flow. Women are also being taught to be more masculine, and there's nothing wrong with that. We as men just have to be more adaptive, and we got to stop blaming women for issues. Blaming women will not make us better men. Blaming anybody about anything will not make us better men. And we should all want to be better men, because better men help create better families, whole families, healed families. All this brokenness, it doesn't have to happen if we check our ego out the door, if we're open-minded and vulnerable, and if we're leading the correct way. It's not do what I say. It's follow me and do what I do. And if you're not doing that as a man, you cannot get mad if no one else is following you when you turn around. We have to do better, because your life depends on it, and your family life depends on it, and the world depends on it. If men can get our act together and become the leaders that God has called us to be, this world will be a better place. There'll be less school shootings, less mass shootings, less men being abusive assholes, less men committing suicide or drinking until they die, or drinking until they destroy their family and themselves. Because I am a believer in iron sharpens iron, and that's the only way. Guys are going to have to start calling out guys on their bullshit, questioning why they're doing what they're doing. It shouldn't be like, well, that's not my family or that's not my problem. It is your problem. It's a society's problem. It's an issue. And if I'm your friend and I'm not calling you out on the way you speak to your wife or how you treat your kids, I'm not your freaking friend. Because I'm telling you, I don't care about you, your wife, or your kids. And if you don't have friends that are holding your feet to the fire and calling you out on your bullshit, then you don't have friends at all. You have acquaintances, people that you're cool with no deep connection. And when things get tough, those men are going to be gone. And you're going to find yourself alone, thinking, well, damn, I thought I had friends. No, you didn't have friends. You had people you were cool with, but they never questioned or called you out if you were doing anything wrong. We just have to be better as men. And we can be better as men. That is my whole goal for this podcast. That is my whole goal for the company that was created in 2019. Excellence above talent. We all have talent, but in order to be the best version of yourself, in order for those talents to be the best version, we're going to have to learn how to excel. And that takes work, that takes time, that takes patience, that takes grace, that takes forgiveness, and you have to grind daily. So, if anyone hasn't told you today that they love you, let me be the first to say I love you. You are awesome. You are amazing. You deserve the best that this world has to offer. Do not give up. Do not quit, because the world does not get easier, but you will get stronger. Y'all have a blessed rest of your week, and we'll see y'all on Friday. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. And for daily, motivational, and up-to-date content, follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Excellence Above Talent. And remember, keep moving forward, never give up, and you are never alone in this battle. We'll see you next time.